We were joking earlier, we had a forum over in Okanogan last night with a similar cast of characters, so I think by the end of this, by November 8th, we might be able to recite each other's bios verbatim. Forgive me if you've heard all of this before. Thank you all for coming out tonight. It's really nice to see so much interest in our local politics. There's a lot of emphasis right now placed in the presidential races and national politics, and as you know, local politics is where you can most directly feel the impacts of your elected officials' decisions. So thank you. My name is Thrasher, and I'm also running for District 2. I'm the other candidate that has never had any experience as a commissioner. So it's between me and Andy. So I live in Twist, like I said, and I'm lucky enough to live within a mile of both of my sisters and their families. And just last week, my niece of 9 years old, she just got to gain her independence to be able to ride her bicycle down to my house by herself, so that's been really fun for both of us to enjoy. A lot of you may know that I've been a wildland firefighter for the last 7 years, and most recently a smoke jumper. But let me fill you in a little bit on what it took for me to get there. When I was 20, I decided that I wanted to become a smoke jumper. And it took me 2 years until I was hired by the Forest Service, and actually I was hired by the Tenasket Hand Crew, and I spent my first summer there. After that, I went on to a hot shot crew, knowing that almost every smoke jumper has had hot shot experience. Those are the firefighters that go to large fires and respond to big incidences, like we've had here in the last couple of years. After 5 years with Forest Service, gaining that firefighting experience, I was finally hired by a smoke jumper base. And we were told on our first day that we were not guaranteed a position until you pass that 6-week rookie training. Rookie training is a physically, emotionally, and mentally tough 6-week period where they try to break you there. They want to break you in that controlled environment to ensure that you will not fail out on the fire line, or it could endanger your life or the lives of your fellow firefighters. I'm happy to say that I passed rookie training. And then I spent the rest of that season, along with the rest of my rookie class, just like every rookie class before us, proving that we were fit to be called smoke jumpers. And at the end of that time, I'm proud to say that I was voted Rookie of the Year by my peers. That is the work ethic, the drive, the tenacity that I promised to bring to this position as County Commissioner. Now, I loved smoke jumping. It was fantastic. That was my goal for 10 years, to reach that position. But firefighting is a seasonal job. I was able to be home all winter, but in the summer you're called off to different regions, different areas, sometimes based not where you live. And it was time for me to come back home, and I really wanted to be closer to my family and also get more involved with my community and put down some roots. And I was expecting to have a nice, relaxing summer, hanging out with my niece and nephew, sitting by the lake, and then I ran for county commissioner, and I've been much busier than anticipated. But that is the reason that I chose to run. I want to help ensure, just as Andy said, that my nieces and nephew can return here if they so choose, or stay, that there's enough of an economic driver that they are able to come home. Additionally, both my sisters are young families. There's a serious lack of affordable housing and affordable childcare in all of our communities, and that's not unique to this area. That's a problem kind of nationwide, but it is something that I would like to help address so that other young families can remain here. Which leads me into my goals as county commissioner. If I get elected, I want to work on increasing our economic vitality, increasing our public health, and increasing the transparency in our local government. So our economic vitality is so closely linked with the public health, it's hard to talk about one without the other. Currently, about a quarter of our population lives below the poverty line, and we're ranked 36 out of 39 counties in regards to public health. Now, there's many factors that go into that: high teen pregnancy rates, high suicide rates, a heroin epidemic, many other health factors. But the Board of Public Health. And having people with that experience helping make those decisions. And as far as increasing the transparency in our local government, you know, there's been mistrust, anger in the last few years, and I think part of it has to do with this lack of transparency. There's some simple solutions that could happen. Right now the website is very user-friendly. Something as simple, and I'm stealing from Chris Branch here, something as simple as making our budget into like a pie chart that's very user-friendly, so you can see where money is coming into the county and where it goes, because that knowledge should be easy to see. I know budget is public information, but it's very difficult to wade through that entire document and see where your money is going to. And then some other innovative ideas for that. There was a Chelan County commissioner who used to give radio briefings weekly. I've already spoke with Dawn at KTRT and TWISP to have studio time so that I could come in and record a session and send it out to other radio stations so it could broadcast countywide, giving an update on what the agenda will be in the upcoming week and giving a report on what we discussed in the previous meetings. So I think just dispersing knowledge is a very key priority. And to finish up, I just want to let you know that I intentionally ran with no party affiliation because, as Shelley said, it's very divisive and you need to be able to work across party lines, and I just want to promise that I will work for the people and not for a particular party. So with that, I'd love to answer any questions that you have. Let me off the hook.
Ashley, I appreciate your drive. Being on the commission requires a lot of knowledge about finances and management of budgets. What experience do you have in that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So how much experience do I have about financial management? While the mechanics of that are very important, I'm confident that I can learn that. A lot of companies now are hiring people that have a certain set of skills, a certain performance. They look for people with the drive, with the character, to ensure that they have the will to learn new things. You can have a very impressive resume and not actually perform up to what that resume appears. And that's not at all saying that Andy would do that. That just want to make very clear that I'm not trying to say that. Yeah.
Ashley, can you elaborate a little bit more, like your opponent wasn't able to do as much, but how do you envision working with cities? You've got 2 representatives of them now. What do you think that role is in working with the cities, with the county?
That's a great question. And I think that the cities and the counties can have a very complementary role. I think that there's a way to work together. You know, there used to be much more sharing with certain resources as far as paving or striping the roads. When the county was in town, they could do that for the cities. And I think that's a great arrangement. I think that's all public funds. Obviously they're separate, but I think being able to work with each other and be complementary with each other is very important. We all represent, everybody that lives in the city is still a member of the county.
Thank you.
Okay, we've only got 1 more minute. All right, thanks.